Okay, now let's work on some doors. Um, I noticed when I was cleaning up my window stuff, and I didn't mention it in the last video, but we've got a discrepancy with some dimensions here from the textbook, and part of that is because we're drawing these walls at 3.5 inches, and some of the dimensioning, if we all went, from the left all the way across, it would be fine. But then when we start from the right coming back, it kind of changes things. So let's keep these. We may have to change this window location when we start doing the kitchen. We'll see how the cabinets go with that. But we'll keep these as shortened from what it shows in the textbook, so that everything across the front is legit, like it shows in the textbook. And in the stairway stuff here is the same. And we'll see how it goes as we work through the project when we have to change that. Okay, doors. You've used the Design Center a little bit. There we go, turn that on. And I want to go down to my door layer, turn that on. And we're going to open up the Design Center. So on the command line keyboard, it's ADC. And when you open it, you go to Folders. And I don't know, you may end up here first time you open it in the sample folder directory here. We want to go English US. And let's look at dynamic blocks. That's where our doors are going to be. Oh, sorry. Dynamic block, and then architectural imperial and blocks. And here's my door. And so I just click and drag it into my file here. And then if you click on it, you see some more handles that come up. Now, a dynamic block is one that you can adjust the size on within the block. One of the issues with this particular door is the wall thicknesses. And if we look in the properties here, our wall thickness options are 4 inches, 5 inches, and 6 inches, which is fine for the exterior walls because we're drawing them at 4 inches. But our interior walls, we're drawing them at 3.5. So we need to edit that. And also the door size. We need a 2'10" door, and there is not one included in there. So we're going to edit this. So select it and right click, and let's go block editor. Okay, and it should open up like this, and the wall thickness, that's a parameter. The door size is a parameter. And so to change them, let's click on wall thickness to select it and come over here in the properties. And it has here this value list. Click that, and to the right, click the little box there, and we want to add 3.5 inches. Okay. Now let's click on door size. Oh, escape first. Door size. And same thing. And now we want to add 2'10" inches. And go OK. And then we'll go close block editor, save changes. And now let's save our file while we've got that done. Okay, now then, we can take this, we can move them and copy them, we can rotate, we can mirror. These little things right here will kind of do the same thing, mirroring and rotating and things like that for you, okay? Well, it doesn't rotate, it just mirrors and flips. So we've I've given you a PDF that has door tags on it with the numbering system. And then I've given you a door schedule in Blackboard that has the door sizes. And so you can put them all in the closest place you can and then rearrange them and number them however you want to do. All right, now as far as placing them goes, we're going to, if the door is in the corner of a room, it's typically a set distance off of the corner. And because our walls we're dealing with here have no gypboard on them, we're going to say 4 inches off of the corner or the edge of the door. And this gives you room for the extra framing for the door opening and for the casing, the trim that goes around the door. Now, in real life, okay, you will need to know what kind of trim your door has around it because it varies. It could vary anywhere from like a 2.5-inch casing to a 4 to 5-inch casing. It all depends on the design that's going to be done. But you need to know that so that when you place doors in the corners, you know that they'll fit with all the casing. Okay, so to start out with, this first door goes right in here in the corner, and it swings back into the room. So I'm going to rotate it. So I'm going to go RO. I'll get a command RO. Base point doesn't really matter. And I'm going to go the 270 degrees there. Okay, so now let me select it, and I know that this one is a 3/0 door, so I'll make my change here for the width, and I know my wall thickness is 4 inches. And honestly, I have found the move command to be better than just dragging it, because sometimes it wants to flip when you drag it in next to the wall. And you want to grab the hinge point, which is the handle for the family. And so I'm going to get it over here a little bit closer. And now we're going to do some temporary lines, construction lines, if you will. And so I'm basically going to start at the corner here. Turn ortho back on. And I'm going to come up 4 inches and I drew 4 feet. Line. Come up and get a snap, 4 inches. And then I'm just going to drag back out here a little bit. Okay. Now I can move my my window. And we'll grab it by the handle here. Because sometimes I've seen these things and they want to flip when you move them up against the wall. And then you can come in and select those little construction lines that you drew, and you can delete those out. Okay, and so now we'll trim out the walls there. And so that's how you place the door. Now with exterior doors, these have a threshold. So we're going to draw that, and we'll leave it on the same layer. And I'm going to go line, and I'm going to use my object snap here, snap from. I'm going to pick this point and come up, and I'm going to say 2 inches, and that starts my line command. And I'm going to come out 2 inches. I'm going to come down 36 plus 2 plus 2 be 38 inches. And I'm going to come back in. What? Should be 40 inches. Undo. Back in 2 inches. And I think that will do it. Let me check my other plan here. No, we want a full rectangle there. Okay. And so there's an exterior door. Okay, so an interior door, we've got one right here. So let's go back to the design center and let's bring another. If I do that, I just need to copy. So I'll select that one. And I'm gonna bring it up here and get it in place. Rotate it. And since I've got that one rotated in the right orientation, I'm going to go ahead and copy one over here. Okay, so this one in the bathroom needs to swing this way. And let's change our sizes to it. Let's see, door number 6. I need my door schedule. Where did it go? There we go. Didn't open. Come on. For some reason, my my little door schedule is not opening. Okay, I'll go back to my AutoCAD plan. I have it over here. So door number 6 is a 2'6" door. So let's go to our properties. We'll change the width of it to 2'6", the wall to a 3.5" wall. Okay, and now I'll do my my temporary line. 4 inches down. You saw how it tried to jump right there, like it just did right there. So that's why sometimes the move command is better. Okay. Oh, and this, I've noticed this happening sometimes with my trim. It like zips out part of the wall. So you kind of got to watch that. And that's how we want to trim that out. Okay. And so you basically go through and get all of these kinds of doors put in. Now the bifold doors, let's see, bifolds, we've got 4 foot, a 3 foot, and a 6 foot. So back to Design Center. And there's not one here in the dynamic blocks. So we'll go back to the regular Design Center. Let's see, House Designer. Yeah, bifold 60-inch door. And so let's bring it down here and drop it in place. And I'm gonna move it outside here a little bit. Okay, now this is just a block. It's not any particular, it's not dynamic. It's just a block. And so I think it's easier to fix it if instead of editing the block, if we just explode it and then edit it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select it and I'm going to go explode, and then it puts it on the 0 layer. Okay. And I tell you what, let me change the color to that 0 layer, make it a little easier for you to see it. I'll go ahead and go with that green that we were using. Okay. Now then, we need to make this a 48-inch door. And so I think I just need to draw a construction layer. Let's see, blue will be a good color for you. So I'm going to go with a rectangle, and I'm going to start it right here. And I want to go 48 inches, 3.5 inches. And so that's where my new door is going to fit. So we'll start with this line, and you can drag it or trim it. I want to trim it back to fit the wall. Now these door leaves, because we've got a 48-inch or a 4-foot door opening, and there's 4 panels, so each panel is 12 inches. So easiest thing is for me to draw a circle with a 12-inch radius. And now I just edit my door so that it fits in there. Now each of these is a rectangle polyline. So what I'll do is I'll select both of them and I'll explode them to make them regular lines. Okay. And now our measurement is going to be from the hinge side, which is right here at this corner, up to here. So I want to trim that little piece out. And I don't want to, yeah, we go ahead and trim that one too. Okay, now I want to select this. Oh, we got it. And I want to move them. And I'll pick that point and I'll move it down to that intersection right there. And you can see here, I need to extend that one up. Okay. And now let's move this 12-inch circle up to that corner, and then we'll repeat it back to here. Okay, so we can trim those things and then move. And I can delete that circle, extend this line back down. Okay, and that's got that side fixed. Okay, and so these, I could do the same process over again to recreate it, or I can mirror it. So I'm just going to delete it and mirror it. This I'm going to move to there, trim the bottom, select that, and make sure I get the little bottoms there, and go mirror, and I'll choose the midpoint of my rectangle to midpoint of the rectangle, erase source, no, and now I can erase my rectangle, and I've got my door. And so I'll select everything there and type in block on the keyboard. I'm going to create a block, and I'm going to call it bifold 48. And the specify on screen, that's your point where we don't really have a line in the middle. So I'll pick the hinge point on one side. That becomes my block to insert it. Now, when I created the block, everything was on the 0 layer. So when we move it into our drawing, it'll work on whatever layer that we have. Okay, so let's go back to my layer there. Now, I can take this little block here, drag it up to here, and rotate it. Minus 90 degrees. And then we're going to center it in this opening. So let's look at, we got 4'8", and our door is 4 feet wide. So that means it'll be 4 inches on either side. Okay. So I'll do a temporary line, 4 inches. Turn the ortho mode back here. There's my door in place, and then I'll trim. And with these, I found it simpler if I just trim out both ends of that little piece inside the door, and then select that and delete it, because it wants to keep deleting a whole line. Okay, so you'll do that. You can copy this one up, put it in the right place here, go back and edit it again. You could, bring this one down. You could bring it in from the design center. You can bring this one down, copy it, edit, save a block again for the 6 foot wide doors that go here. And then for this door right here, it's a 3 foot wide door, but they don't really make a 4 panel bifold that's 3 foot wide that I've been able to find in the stores. So we'll do a 2 panel that's 3 foot wide, and which means that each panel is 18 inches wide. And I'll show you here. So this is what we end up with right here. So we basically have half of one, but we still have the wall jam lines on each side of it there. Okay. All right, let's do it time-wise. I'm at 23 minutes. Okay, so I'll pause this one and we'll come back to one with tags.